Hi everyone, Dr. Kara here, Tristine and the puppies. So, many of us eat out. This is evidence of my pho addiction. I was a very busy working mother, and let me tell you, Vietnamese noodle soup was a healthy, quick meal, right? I had a little kid, I had a business. I have grown up managing a health food store. I was a chemist for a wastewater treatment plant. I felt overqualified to try and give people advice for gut problems. I had on and off tummy issues. I've had a post-appendectomy here, and I had a car accident that really, every day I had low-grade abdominal pain, and I went to gastroenterologists and naturopaths and unbelievable amount of providers. And you guys have probably heard this, 20, 10, 15, 30 different people, and you try things and it works a little bit and then it doesn't work. You know, these things really become an issue. Well, to come back to the pho, my 30th provider, which really had a real insight in what was going on with gut, I had chronic inflammation response syndrome, which made my gut very vulnerable through a neuroendocrine window. So like naturopaths or functional meds, sometimes they want to treat leaky gut by diet change. If your neuroendocrine's off, your gut junctions never close. So simple things like testing hormones and histamine releasing allergies. It turned out the coriander in my pho broth triggered huge amounts of histamine that made me retain water and created allergies in my gut. Not so much sneezing. Some people get rashes, some people get itchy, right? Some people get the itchy eyes or swollen eyes. You know, it hits us differently because we all are very unique with our gene and our lifestyles, okay? So, we all have a gut story. Yeah. Hers isn't the same as mine.
Yeah, so I more recently found out I can't have dairy. I never thought of it as a problem, you know. I was like, oh man, I love eating my cheese and crackers. I love having my cereal in the morning. But, you know, almond milk it is. But yeah, you just get I got really tired. And my nose would stuff up. It wasn't always tummy issues, you know. Sometimes it was smaller things. Just depends on kind of the more amount of dairy that I had that day. It was just different.
Yeah, sometimes it's in soup. Sometimes it's a whey in a shake. You might be at a breakfast bar and grab a strawberry smoothie and not even know you had dairy. You know, It's what we put in our foods, and when we eat out, we're not in control of what we're making, and we're kind of irresponsibly trusting wherever this food came from, and it's just usually not okay. You know, there's stuff to preserve it and make it travel, and it's missing enzymes in life, and sometimes the things in it would have been okay if it was more natural or not old. You know, so all of these things start to add up. Many of you will have your own story and your own reason for having gut, but once we understand that the gut's part of the problem, it's usually in a massive amount of things. So you never have one thing take the body out. It's always many. And the gut is one of those seriously, I don't know how many videos you've probably seen about the gut. Many, 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 many. And you're going to hear different things. I am of the philosophy that all of them are right. It's the context that starts to really matter on if you get results, because it has to be accurate for you. Now, we use GI Synergy, which helps soothe the gut lining to repair it so that you can start having proper absorption. And there's a lot of things going on in the gut, so this doesn't do it all. So I take this, it's a packet a day. It's got a few pills in it that you swallow, and it starts to really repair the actual digestive organ. And you have your small intestine off the stomach, so you get a mash with a bunch of acid in it that starts to break it down so you can absorb. So the small intestine is supposed to absorb until it gets to large. And your appendix is a little probiotic pouch that continues having good bacteria to live in there so that your large intestine can take the sucked out nutrient food into the large intestine where it can absorb the water, where it prepares to make the stool to get rid of the waste, okay? Now the fiber, it gets really handy. This is a special patented kind of fiber. I want you to think of a brush that literally cleans your butt, okay? I know it doesn't sound pretty, but you got to get that stuff out of you. There's soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, and modified fiber. This is a patented modified to particularly bind toxins as it brushes out. So some of you have known us a while. This is fairly new. It was hard to get a hold of. So you're going to want to get your hands on this. This has really made our protocol even stronger. So we're rebuilding the organ. We're scrubbing it out. This is another binder. This helps get more toxins out. If you consult with us, we actually have a table that shows you the top 35 toxins that are natural, that actually come from organisms that build up in your system. And you all know you have organisms in your food because you don't let it rot on the counter. It literally is organism fest in a few hours. So you don't want that in you. Because if a meal sits in you too long, you need digestive enzymes to get this going. It helps the process. We use GI Absorb and the enzyme complex through Apex. We actually have 4 different enzymes, or we have an entire category of enzymes. For someone who can't do dairy, we actually have enzymes to break down dairy. So this poor thing, she can go through life and have a boo-boo, and because we all oopsies on our little dietary stuff, and still be okay, because she can add the enzyme, which is the reason why she couldn't have dairy, right? So 80-20, you know, we expect you to be maybe 80% correct. Now, once that's all doing really well, and the enzymes are getting things going, you've repaired the small intestine, we've cleaned it out, probiotics. Probiotics are also binders, but they also bring the best tenants to your apartment, right? Life is good when you have good paying tenants that are no ruckus. You don't want those bad guys in your system. If you do not fill up a perfectly cleaned out apartment, you will have the ickies move in, okay? So this becomes really important. And Entrovite is high in butyric acid and vitamins to really create the environment and that nice calm feeling in the gut. So this really helps with symptoms until you're on the fiber long enough to clean out. Then you start producing your own butyric, okay? So in our protocol, some people are like, oh my God, look at this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. I don't know if I can do that much. But if you understand how it comes together and the result that it creates, then you understand you can't make a muffin with just wheat flour or just egg or just sugar. You've got to put it together and do it right. So here's our 7th product.
Yeah, Repair Vite. So after you clean everything out, you know, and you start rebuilding it, this helps with that final put everything in place, you know. So you want to make sure that in the end we are happy with our tummies and everything lays out.
It's nice. So you can struggle, you can try random stuff online, or you can follow a recipe. You know, baking at home is really fun when you have instructions and everything in a box. You know, that kind of makes it successful. So this is a very thorough recipe where 95% do well. There's a few of you weirdos out there. We have really fun diagnosing some pretty difficult things because sometimes there's problem on top of problem on top of problem. We take one away and it helps, but there's a couple more to go. So we haven't seen anyone with that explanation fail doing this. We've seen a lot of people fail not doing anything. So I really hope you guys get happy tummies. And if we can be part of it, it'd be great.
Yes.